Current Atlanta Hawks star Trae Young was in the privileged position of blowing the train horn during Atlanta Falcons' narrow defeat at the hands of the New Orleans Saints on Sunday. The tradition is part of folklore at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and the Hawks star was more than happy to get involved this past weekend. Today we're discussing Young blowing the train horn during this weekend's NFL game. Stay with us. Let's get straight into it then. What happened this past weekend in Atlanta? It's no secret that Trae Young loves the city of Atlanta. The Lubbock, Texas native is slotted in nicely since arriving in Georgia back in 2018 and was the guest of honor for this weekend's NFL curtain raiser between the Atlanta Falcons and the New Orleans Saints. In the build-up to the return of football at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, the Falcons had announced they would be hosting Young, who received a slick-looking number 11 Falcons jersey to wear for the game. The shirt had Ice Trae, the 23-year-old's nickname, emblazoned across the back, but that wasn't all. The Hawks point guard was entrusted with the task of sounding the train horn inside the arena during the pregame festivities, joining other Atlanta legends such as Chris Tucker in taking part in the tradition. Of course, Young plies his trade just a few hundred meters away in State Farm Arena, but fans will have been more than happy to welcome him as he's extremely popular in the Atlanta community as a member, where he serves as city ambassador. He is also a respected community leader, welcoming the city's sports team's new recruits personally and even gifting money to the struggling citizens to clear debts and provide meals. The appointment of Young to ring the train horn proved to be an extremely popular one too, as young basketball star was given a rousing reception, and rightly so. Who's your favorite NBA star right now? So what's the history of the Falcons and the train horn? Stay tuned to find out. The train horn and the Atlanta Falcons go hand in hand, but what on earth is it all about? As you will know if you've ever seen the Mercedes-Benz Stadium or the Georgia Dome before that, whenever the Falcons score, they blow an extremely loud and some might say annoying train horn. It had previously been suggested that this was simply a nod to Georgia Tech, the world-renowned university which calls Atlanta home. The university is widely regarded for its engineering department, so it seems like a good reason to blow a train horn, right? Well, not exactly. It turns out the Falcons actually blow the highly irritating horn during games to recognize another piece of Atlanta history, the railroad. The city, once known as Marthasville, was back in the day nicknamed Terminus. Why? Because that's where the cross-country railroad terminated, of course. The Falcons decided to honor the railroad by blowing the train horn during games, but it serves as a much better way of keeping fans awake, or irritating them in our view. It is interesting to delve into the background of sports teams and what sort of in-game traditions they take part in. Let us know what your team does in the comments below. Trae wasn't the only Atlanta Falcon at last Sunday's game. Stay where you are. With Trae Young being handed the train horn's honors, plenty of his Falcons teammates were on hand to provide some support during the Falcons' one-point defeat to the Saints over the past weekend. Of course, with the NBA season still a few weeks away, Hawks players had a bit of downtime and decided to check out their fellow pros, with plenty of the guys in attendance. Onyeka Okongwu and DeAndre Hunter were on hand to cheer on the Falcons, while Jalen Johnson and Chris Silva were also in attendance. As well as those guys, Justin Holiday, Tyson Etienne, and Trent Forrest all managed to bag a ticket for the first game of the NFL season, and this is becoming a regular sight at the games of professional sports teams in the city, as Hawks players are known to get behind the other sides in the ATL. Just last fall, they were all in attendance for an Atlanta Braves playoff game in the MLB, which is great to see. Long may the support continue. Who's your favorite Atlanta team? Give us your thoughts below. Next up, Trae has mocked the Broncos over a controversial on-field decision. Trae Young added to the mass criticism of the Denver Broncos this past weekend as they opted for a long field goal kick as opposed to trusting Russell Wilson. And it mattered in the end too, as the Broncos dropped an extremely tight game 17-16. With 1 minute 4 seconds left on the clock, the Broncos were at the Seahawks' 46-yard line and most simply expected them to let Wilson do what he does in an attempt to get them downfield. What transpired was anything but. Inexplicably, they decided to bring out kicker Brandon McManus, who promptly missed the 64-yard field goal. The odds of him making the kick from that start were relatively low, so he probably wouldn't have been expected to make it, but why they didn't just let Wilson attempt to weave some magic, we will never know. Talking on Twitter, Young decided to troll the Broncos and let their decisions to bring McManus by posting, quote, "Someone just told me Broncos Nation, let's kick," which will of course wind up the Denver faithful no end. But a lot of social media users agreed with Trae, with some pointing out that Wilson was being paid $240 million over 5 years, but the Broncos are choosing to trust the kicker over him, which is probably fair enough. We wonder if Wilson and Nathaniel Hackett are not currently seeing eye to eye. Let us know what you think below. Falcons coach Arthur Smith has had his say on the disappointing collapse now. At one point during the Falcons' defeat to the Saints on Sunday, they were leading 26-10 and ended up losing the game 27-26, which was extremely embarrassing for Arthur Smith, but the Falcons head coach believes his team will come back stronger from the defeat and learn from their mistakes. The Falcons even had a late chance to win the game, but Young-Ho Koo had a field goal attempt charged down, and after the game, Smith spoke about how the media, quote, wrote our obituary earlier this year, then went on to say that he expects the same thing to happen again following the defeat. Smith, who had spent a large part of his career with the Tennessee Titans, then went on to say, quote, we have 16 games left, and if we don't learn from that and get better, we gotta go play LA. They got a 3-day jump on us, so we'll watch the tape, we'll look for corrections, and then we have to get going on the Rams. And while he probably shouldn't write off the Falcons' chances just after one game, there will be serious concerns throughout the fan base, as well as the boardroom. Smith went on to say, so write whatever y'all want. The guys ranked us 45th. You buried us in May, bury us again. We don't care. We'll get back to work, and work they must. What do you guys think of Smith's words? And finally, news of the Falcons freeing up some cap space. Stay tuned. It was revealed earlier today, September 13th, that the Atlanta Falcons have engaged in a shrewd bit of business in a bid to free up a little headspace. The news concerns the contract of linebacker Deion Jones, whose contract has been reconstructed by the Georgia outfit. Jones is the Falcons' best paid player and had $8.5 million of his contract converted over into a $6.8 million bonus. Not bad. The Falcons also included 3 voidable years to the number 45's contract, meaning he gets his money a lot sooner. Unfortunately for Jones, his time in Atlanta could soon be drawing to a close, as it's thought that the team are thinking about moving on from a former Pro Bowl linebacker. And with Rashaan Evans and Mykal Walker doing decent jobs in the inside linebacker positions, it will be interesting to see if Jones can regain the trust of Arthur Smith. Whatever Smith decides, Jones is still a viable option for linebacker, and many teams will almost certainly see him as a solid addition should it turn out that the Falcons head coach wants to be rid of him, which at this point seems as though it might. What do you guys make of the Atlanta team reconstructing Deion Jones' contract? Do you think it's a good idea? And is the writing on the wall for the popular linebacker? Let us know what you think below. As always, thank you so much for dropping in on us today, and remember to swing by again next time when we will be discussing all sorts of other cool bits and pieces. And why not do us a big favor by liking today's video while also sharing it with any Atlanta Falcon fans you might know of. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any more great future content. See you in the next video. Bye!